you know, because up to that point, he had brought me on to help him figure out his first movie. And then the next movie is 800 grand, which is 4 times the biggest budget I've ever had. Right. So it's like, I've never been good at that level of it, you know, or I just don't know the right people, I guess. But so Fade to Black was self-funded. After that, I did the 13th movie in the Witchcraft franchise, which was,
How did that come? How does that
oh
come up?
man. Oh, it actually has, it is a direct result of that Bare Bones Film Festival and Fade to Black. So we went to the festival and played Fade to Black. There was another movie there called the After School Special that played. And it was like this low budget comedy, kind of like All Happens in One Night, kind of like Can't Hardly Wait or American Graffiti, like that kind of movie. Last day of school in high school, guys are going to go party, made by these dudes in Chicago. And it was very like Chicago-ish, Chicago-centric, right? But they shot on 16 millimeter, shot on film. We went to go see it as a gas because I don't remember what their promotion, what it said on their flyers, but something on their flyers made the whole of us that were there for Fade to Black. We're like, we got to go see this. Like, just made some stupid joke on their flyer. I don't remember what it was, but we went and saw it, and it was really good, like hilarious, actually. Like, we had a great time with it. I met the guys there. Turns out that even though they made a comedy, they were super into horror movies too. So we kind of bonded over that. And I kept in touch with them. Then when I did my film festival that your movie played at, we played the After School Special as well.
Okay.
So they came to Houston for that, it was a big deal because, like I told you, I mentioned it earlier, that film festival was November of 2001. So it was tough for people, like traveling and stuff was wild, you know, like I almost canceled it because I thought nobody's going to be able to come. Right. But they made it out. I think they actually drove down, if I'm not mistaken. We continued to hit it off. And then they were starting to get their next movie going, which was called Drawing Blood. And they were going to shoot it on Memorial Day, or starting around Memorial Day of the following year, if I'm not mistaken. And that was right when the DVX 100 had come out, right? The Panasonic. So they were just telling me about it. And then we stayed in touch and they kept me updated. And they had gotten like Robert Zadar was going to be in the movie, and Joe Estevez, you know, I'm like, I love Maniac Cop, you know. So they were just kind of telling me about it. And they were shooting up in Chicago. And they told me they were shooting on a DVX. So I told them, I said, hey, it's Memorial Day weekend. I've got some time off. I'll take a few vacation days in addition to the holiday weekend. I'll bring my camera up and I'll shoot B camera for you guys, just to have, you guys can have extra footage. Like, I just want to shoot something. I haven't been able to do anything. It's been like music videos and just like little stuff. I haven't been able to get a feature together, right? So let me come up there and just shoot with you guys and like kind of scratch the itch, get shooting again. So I go up there, I get on the set, and the guy they have as DP, who's a great dude, and he had a lot of cool gear, but he hadn't really shot a movie before, like or much of anything. Like, I remember they had this light kit, and I'm not trying to talk shit about the dude, but this is exactly how it happened. He had a light kit and he opened it up, and I was like, okay, well, we're shooting outside with these lights. Do you want to put some gel? Do you want to put these up on the lights to balance the light out? And he's like, oh, that's what those are for. Like, he didn't really know what a lot of the gear was, right? You know, so it became clear that he was a guy that he had just off the cuff shot a bunch of like corporate stuff or whatever, but hadn't really shot movie stuff.
Right.
So but I didn't, you know, I didn't try to be an asshole about it. I was like, well, let's just work together and make this as cool as we can. We ended up co-DPing it and then just raising the level of the movie, kind of like doing like we did. I remember we did that Hitchcock trombone shot in one of the scene, you know, the where it goes from deep focus to shallow focus, that whole thing. I showed him, yeah, and I showed him how to do that, and everybody's like, oh my God, you know. And I was kind of like, oh my God, because I was like, I can't believe it worked. Like, I remember reading about how to do it, but I'd never done it, right? But once that weekend passed, they came to me and they're like, hey, dude, I know you just came up this weekend to help us shoot, but we'll pay for you to come up the next 5 weekends while we shoot to help us finish shooting this movie and co-DP with this guy. And the other guy was cool with it. Like, we hit it off. Like, we got along great. And so we got through that movie. And then because of that, in the process of selling that movie, they met the guy that owned the Witchcraft franchise. he offered it to them, but they said, they were like, well, we're working on our following film, but there's this guy in Texas that we'd love to produce it for, right? Because he helped us out on this thing. So that's how that came together, but that's kind of where the positive part of the story ends.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because it became like, it was like, well, we only have $3,000 for the budget, but you have to front it. This is from the top. Like, you put it, and then once you deliver the movie to us, we'll repay you. But of course, once I did that, they didn't want to repay me. And of course, and then I was like, well, I'm not sending you this movie until you pay me. Then they kind of said that I had the money and stole it. It just became a whole thing, right? And it just became scummy shit. Like, these guys that I'd bonded with so well, like, it immediately got antagonistic, which became a bummer.
Wait, the guys from the original shoot that you helped out,
Correct. Yes.
they kind of turn on you?
Fully turned on me. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So
that's a bummer, man.
Yeah. And it's that kind of stuff where I'm like, there always seems to be some weird battle like that on a lot of the movies that I do, where it's like just someone just trying to do shady stuff, you know?
But how do you deal with that? Because, like, for instance, like, I make micro budget films, and part of me says, oh, that's by choice. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I just find the less people that I have to work with, the smaller the cast that I have to work with, the less equipment that I have to work with, the happier I am, the easier it goes for me, and I find that I'm able to operate on just a much, like, how do you go into that? Because is that also why you've made 6, 7 film, like do you kind of have to recharge, like how do you
100%.
deal with it, first of all, and what does it do to you, like having to deal with the corridors of power?
Yeah, that it really, I mean, it really fucked. I mean, there are things that started then that I still think I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? Like, it's giving me PTSD in weird ways, My immediate reaction to that was, so I had to lawyer up and kind of fight them for it.
For $3,000.
For $3,000, yeah. And
Wow.
that's why in betweening they mentioned that. Like, remember the producers offer them $3,000. Like, that's where that all comes from, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So for $3,000, I had the lawyer up. Fortunately, I had friends of friends that I had known since elementary school that had become lawyers. They offered to help me out and fight that. We eventually got my money back with the $3,000 they promised me. I mean, of course, I spent more than that because I wanted the movie to be the best witchcraft it could be. So we actually went to a cave in San Antonio and shot, which costed money. So I ended up probably spending like $7,000 of my own money, which sucked because that was also the year we got married. It was 2005. So I had to pay for a wedding and, but we made it happen because at the time, the carrot dangling, the reason I did all that was they'd release the movie and it would be out on shelves and I'd have a movie to my credit, which at the time it did. It came out, it was on Hollywood video shelves, Witchcraft 13 with my credit on it. By that point, of course, I didn't want to see it, but that was the payment for me. Anyway, I lawyered up and then the lawyers decided, they're like, hey, well, what if we produce a movie for you? We have a little extra money. We see that it'd be cool to see what you could do without having to deal with all this stuff, right?